Continuing on a video I made last week that was also titled 5 Young NHL Duos That Will Dominate the NHL for Many Years, and I said in that video I left some people out because I'm probably going to do a part 2, so that is what we're doing in today's video. And before I get into it, remember it is ages 22 and under because I said that at the beginning of last video, and for some reason people were still commenting where's this player when they were over 22 years of age. And also the players don't have to play together, which means they don't have to be on the same line, they just have to be on the same team. So with that being said, let's jump right into the video. Starting off with the one that you guys saw in the thumbnail, and that is Brady Tkachuk and Thomas Chabot from the Ottawa Senators. Now I could have went a couple different routes with this one. I almost made it Brady Tkachuk and Colin White, I almost made it Brady Tkachuk and Drake Batherson, but I decided to just stick with the two, established players that are really going to be the core pieces for this team moving forward and really be the centerpieces of this rebuild in Ottawa. And I definitely think they have a really good start with these two young players. Thomas Chabot, 22-year-old defenseman, last season 63 games played, 9 goals and 16 assists for 25 points. And then obviously this year, as we all know, he had an amazing breakout season, 70 games played, 14 goals and 41 assists for 55 points. It sucks that he did have to go down with injury because he most likely could have been up there around 60 points, and for a defenseman in just his second full NHL season, that would be very, very impressive. But nonetheless, he still had an amazing season. Towards the beginning of the year, a lot of people even had his name in Norris Trophy contention, which in my opinion is very impressive, and Thomas Chabot really showed that he can be a #1 defenseman for this franchise moving forward. Now taking a look at Brady Tkachuk, who in my opinion had a really impressive rookie season, and I definitely think if Ottawa could go back and use that 4th overall selection again, I definitely think they wouldn't change anything and they would select Brady Tkachuk. I think he's a great fit for this team, and he definitely showed that he's going to be a really, really nice young piece for them moving forward. He's a 19-year-old left winger, last season in the NCAA, 40 games played, 8 goals and 23 assists for 31 points. And then this season in his rookie year, 71 games played, 22 goals and 23 assists for 45 points. If he could have stayed healthy the whole year and played all 82 games, he probably would have been up there around 50 points. It just really seemed like Brady Tkachuk didn't really have that period of trying to adjust to the NHL. He's physical, he can use his body well to protect the puck, and in my opinion, he has more offensive upside than his brother Matt does, and that is saying something because Matthew Tkachuk had an amazing offensive year this season for the Calgary Flames, but I definitely think Ottawa has to really like what they have moving forward between these two players, and I definitely think they can cause a lot of problems for the rest of the Eastern Conference once Ottawa really does start to put the right pieces around them and actually give them a team where they are able to compete. But definitely Brady Tkachuk and Thomas Chabot is a really, really good start to this rebuild in Ottawa. Next up we have the one that I'm sure a lot of you expected would be in this video because a lot of you were asking where it was in the last one, but like I said, I was saving some of them to put in the part 2, and that is Jack Eichel and Rasmus Dahlin of the Buffalo Sabres. Now I think last year when I made this video I had the combination of Jack Eichel and Casey Mittelstadt, but Casey Mittelstadt kind of underwhelming in his rookie year. Hopefully he can really turn it up next season and do what everyone thought he was going to do this season, but definitely have to go with Rasmus Dahlin. Even though they're not like line mates or anything in terms of being on the same forward line, they're definitely going to be on the ice a lot at the same time throughout their careers, and definitely an amazing 1-2 punch for this Buffalo team moving forward into the future. Obviously starting with Jack Eichel, the captain of the Sabres, 22-year-old centerman, last year 67 games played, 25 goals and 39 assists for 64 points. And heading into the season, the narrative around Jack Eichel is just, can he play a full schedule without being hurt? And this year he showed that he can. He only missed 5 games, which is definitely a step in the right direction for Jack Eichel, and he had his career year in terms of points per game, total points, and all that type of stuff. Just an amazing year for Jack Eichel, and hopefully he can build on that moving forward. 77 games played, like I said, only missing 5, 28 goals and 54 assists for 82 points. If he would play in all 82, probably can be a guy who can give you around 90 points. But just all around, I really do think Jack Eichel had an amazing year, and hopefully he can build on that next season. And now looking at Rasmus Dahlin, last year's #1 overall pick, and he really did not disappoint in his rookie season. He's a 19-year-old defenseman. Last season over in Sweden, 41 games played, 7 goals and 13 assists for 20 points. And this season in the NHL, 82 games played, 9 goals and 35 assists for 44 points. He was 18 years old, playing the majority of his games in the NHL, and just the things he was capable of doing at such a young age is just super impressive, and it really just makes you think, like, when this guy's around 25 to 27 years old, he's going to be most likely one of the top defensemen in the entire NHL. Buffalo definitely has an amazing 1-2 punch here moving forward into the future, and I really do do only think it is a matter of time before Buffalo is really a powerhouse, and these two guys are going to be leading that charge. Next up, we have more of a bold one, and that is Matt Barzal and Oliver Wahlstrom of the New York Islanders. And I say this is more of a bold one strictly because Oliver Wahlstrom hasn't even proven himself yet at the professional hockey level, but he is an amazing prospect, and I definitely think if he can live up to his potential, that everyone thought he had when the New York Islanders drafted him this past summer, I definitely think this can be a deadly combo in terms of like a playmaker sniper duo. But starting off with Matt Barzal, he is really the franchise centerpiece for this team moving forward after the departure of John Tavares. And yes, Matt Barzal's numbers did see a pretty significant drop off. I think that is largely because now when you're going up against the New York Islanders, your focus is going to be, okay, we have to neutralize Matt Barzal, we have to slow him down, when last year it was, okay, we have to slow down, John Tavares. And Matt Barzal was kind of playing protected minutes, not in the first line role, and I think that is a big reason why his numbers did drop off. But I think next season, when he really adapts to that and embraces that number one center role, he definitely can get that point total back up to around 80 points. But still, I think he had a good year. I didn't really expect him to replicate what he did in his rookie season, where he played in all 82 games and had 22 goals and 63 assists for 85 points. Just an amazing year for Matt Barzal, won him the Calder Trophy. And then this season, Matt Barzal followed up his amazing rookie year with once again playing in all 82 games, scoring 18 goals and adding 44 assists for 62 points. So, a pretty big drop off, but I still think he is going to get back to his 85 to 90 point self next year, where he really embraces that number one center role. And now looking at Oliver Wahlstrom, 18-year-old right winger, last season played in the USHL, 26 games played, 22 goals and 23 assists for 45 points, was seen as one of the best scorers coming into last draft, and I do think that the New York Islanders got a pretty decent selection getting Oliver Wahlstrom with, I believe it was the 10th or 11th pick. I know they had both of those. One of those picks being Noah Dobson and the other being Oliver Wahlstrom. And then this year in the NCAA, 36 games played, 8 goals and 11 assists for 19 points. Didn't have the greatest year in terms of what a lot of people thought he would do, but still put up some decent numbers in the few games he did play in the American Hockey League. So I think next year, maybe a year in the AHL, a full season where he's really able to get his feet wet, in professional hockey, and then maybe the season following is where we will see him make the jump to the NHL. But you never know, he could play in the NHL as soon as next season. It depends on this summer and what the direction of the New York Islanders want to go, but in my opinion, this is going to be a very, very deadly duo moving forward. Next up, from the St. Louis Blues, we have Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou. Now, Robert Thomas really has came in and been an impact player this season as a 19-year-old, and I didn't really think he was going to make the jump immediately, but he has shown that he can be an impactful player at the NHL level right now, and I definitely think these two are going to be a very, very deadly combo for this team moving forward, just to complement all the veterans that they have. I think St. Louis is in a really, really good position moving forward into the future, and obviously in a good position right now because they are currently in the Stanley Cup Finals. But starting off with Robert Thomas, a 19-year-old centerman, played last year in the Ontario Hockey League where he had 75 points in 49 games, and then this season played 70 NHL games, which, like I said, was a surprise to me, 9 goals and 24 assists for 33 points. A really underrated season for Robert Thomas, and I think he can definitely build on that next year. And he had a pretty good playoffs as well. It sucks that he did have to go down with injury because he was playing a pretty significant role for them and was one of the big reasons why they are in the Stanley Cup Final. And now looking at Jordan Kyrou, a 21-year-old centerman, can play the wing as well though, and I think that is probably what he's going to play at the NHL level. Played last season in the Ontario Hockey League, 109 points in 56 games, an amazing season. Obviously, everyone knows just by looking at that what he is capable of doing on the offensive end. And then looking at his American League stats this year, 47 games played, 16 goals and 27 assists for 43 points. Played a decent chunk of NHL games this year as well. I believe it was around 16, but didn't play, well enough to really stick around for the full season. But put up some decent numbers in the American Hockey League, and I definitely think next year we will see Jordan Kyrou be a full-time member of the St. Louis Blues NHL club. And I'd like to see these guys played together, maybe in a second or third line role. I think that would be really interesting. Maybe put them together on the power play because, like I said, two really young, skilled guys who are definitely going to be a huge part of the St. Louis Blues future. And I had to put them in this video because I just really think they're going to be one of the best young duos in the NHL in just a couple of years. Now finishing off the video with one from my favorite team, the Detroit Red Wings, and that is Dylan Larkin and Phillip. Now I hope you guys don't think I'm being biased when talking about these two players, but I definitely think they're going to have fantastic NHL careers playing together for this Detroit team, and obviously they're two of the biggest pieces of Detroit's future. Starting off with Dylan Larkin, in my opinion, he's going to be the next captain of them, hopefully next season. He's a 22-year-old centerman. Last season, 82 games played, 16 goals, and 47 assists for 63 points, and this year he really had his breakout season in the NHL. 76 games played, 32 goals, and 41 assists for 73 points. I was hoping he would have hit 80 points, but he did struggle with injury a little bit there towards the end of the season, which, didn't really allow him to hit 80 points, but still an amazing season for Dylan Larkin, and hopefully he and Detroit can really build on that into the future, because I definitely think it only goes up from here. We didn't have the greatest season. Obviously, we finished on a pretty ridiculously good streak, which kind of sucks because it kind of screwed us out of getting a top 2 pick, but nonetheless, I still think Detroit has a lot of good things moving forward into the future, and a lot of that is going to be centered around Dylan Larkin. And now talking about Phillip, the 19-year-old right winger, obviously he was our 6th overall pick in last year's NHL draft, and I know a lot of people are probably going to say yes, but Detroit should have taken Quinn Hughes with that draft pick, and while I do agree with that, I still think Phillip is going to be a great piece for this team. Last season in the QMJHL for the Halifax Mooseheads, 57 games played, 44 goals, and 38 assists for 82 points. And then this season he spent it in the American Hockey League, 59 games played, 16 goals, and 19 assists for 35 points. He really started to pick it up there towards the end and just get more comfortable. He did play in 9 NHL games as well where he had a goal and an assist. I watched all of those games closely, and it really did seem like Phillip just got more comfortable and got a lot better after every single game, which is definitely a good sign. And in my opinion, Phillip is going to be a full-time member of the Red Wings roster next season, and hopefully he can have a strong rookie season. I think Larkin and Zadina can really feed off each other and just complement each other's games very well. I think on the power play it's going to be great because Dylan Larkin is a really good playmaker, and obviously Phillip is known as a sniper. So I'm really hoping this works out. I had to put my Red Wings guys in here, but I definitely don't think I'm being biased in this one because I think they have the potential to really be an amazing duo together for many years. So that is going to wrap up today's video. I really hope you guys did enjoy, and make sure to let me know down in the comment section who are some young duos that you think have the potential to dominate the NHL in the future. And remember, everyone in this video is 22 years of age or under, so don't go commenting where's this player, if they're above 22 years of age. So with that being said, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel for daily NHL content, and I will see you guys all in the next video.